Let's bring in Richard Roth, founder of the Roth Law Firm, and Ryan James Girdusky, a contributor for the Washington Examiner. And Ryan, let's start with you on that last point. Why should Democrats consider any Supreme Court nominee, given that we are in an election year? We don't know what the makeup of the Senate is going to be, and given that Republicans use the same logic about the White House and not even giving a hearing to Merrick Garland?
Well, McConnell's rule, I guess we're going to call it that, the McConnell rule was that during a presidential election, not every even year, there would be consideration for who the people are going to vote for. Secondly, the Democrats really don't have much of a choice. They don't. And there are a number of Democrats who really don't have a choice. The red state Democrats, Montana, Indiana, Missouri, Florida, they're going to have a lot of hard times if they sit there and obstruct. And many of them are easy. And also the new one in Alabama, Doug Jones, will have a very, very hard time if they don't vote for Trump's Supreme Court pick. And you don't want this going all the way to November, going into a presidential election, and Republicans campaigning in Missouri and Ohio saying, elect me and we'll get a conservative Supreme Court judge. It's not going to work out for the Democrats' favor.
So I happen to agree that Democrats don't have a choice, but it really is they're playing two sides of the coin. For Mitch McConnell to say, give us a name, when he had Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland was a name, and he played with it, and he let it slide. And the difference between a presidential election and a Senate election really is not a difference. I mean, they really should do the same thing. That that was done when Obama appointed Merrick Garland.
There is a bit of a difference.
They should wait. There's a big difference.
It's a nationwide election versus several states.
It's a difference in the appointment, but it's not a difference in the result. And the problem I have, quite frankly, with Judge Kavanaugh is that this is a more important decision than the last justice that was picked, because it will really swing this entire judiciary to the right. And I think that if that's the case, you got to give the Democrats a shot, just like the Republicans wanted one.
I'm giving you advice as somebody who used to work in campaigns. This is not going to work out for Heidi Heitkamp. This is not going to work out for Claire McCaskill. Or
we don't know that until after the election, right?
It's not going to work out in their favor if you mobilize evangelicals and sit there and say,
but look, maybe it gets easier for Republicans. So maybe the Republicans gain some seats because the Democrats won't allow a hearing until after the election. But that's fine.
They don't have the choice not to allow a hearing.
There are Republicans that actually do not want Kavanaugh. There are Republicans that are not so gung-ho with him. So the Republicans, listen, I agree with you. He will probably get nominated, but it's not. It may not be an easy run.
It will be.
There will be Republicans that will definitely.
One second. To Ryan's point, though, there are Democrats that are at risk now of losing their seats. Does the Democratic body really want to risk losing those seats over this?
I think Ryan's right. I think the Democrats are in a lose-lose situation. They can't come out too strongly because they could lose their seat.
And anyway, he's gonna be confirmed. It looks like.
Oh, I think he is. But the Democrats are going to go down swinging, and as they should.
But may lose Senate seats over it.
Depending on it depends who swings. Chuck Schumer can swing all day. He's not losing his seat.
Right, but I'm talking about red states.
There are red state Democrats that are going to be nervous in what they do. They have to be very smart. Let the Schumers of the world run with it, and they could say, you know, we are hesitantly voting for him, or we are not voting for him. They could sort of toe the line. But you're right. It's a hard call, because to them, the most important thing is November.
Listen, Kavanaugh is a very reasonable pick. He is not Judge Barrett, which would have been a much harder thing for them to pick. The only Republican who's going to be on the fence is Rand Paul because of the Fourth Amendment issues with Judge Kavanaugh. This is a very easy confirmation for him.
Maybe. Let me say one thing that in terms of confirmation or not. He has a very long record, right? He was White House counsel in the Bush White House for 5 years. Judge Elena Kagan had to provide every single government email for her confirmation. Why shouldn't Democrats and the media ask for the same thing from Brett Kavanaugh?
They can. That's not a big issue. They can sit there and ask for every email.
If there are things in the emails that are controversial.
Are we starting a new email scandal, David?
You know, it's really there's a couple things about Kavanaugh. Number one is that he did give a dissenting opinion in a very important decision involving immigrants, a woman who wanted to have an abortion. Right. He dissented against her having an abortion. That is a judge.
He upheld Obamacare as well.
Correct. With all due respect, that is a judge at the district level, which is sort of the triple A's. That's great. We are talking about playing major leagues here.
Okay.
And I'm very nervous that someone like him, who actually wanted to impeach Clinton for lying, ironically, we have Trump, who's going through not as bad of a scene, but it could get there. So it's dangerous territory for Kavanaugh to be confirmed.
The most important decision is not that decision. It's a decision he made last year where he sat there and said to I think it was a restaurant in the District of Columbia, who wanted to import chefs from Brazil after the DOJ said no. He said, you have no right to import any workers to undercut American citizens. Let them run that campaign ad that they're going to sit there and vote against a judge who wants to promote American workers.
I don't disagree with that.
That's going to kill Democrats. And the only thing Democrats have right now is to make sure Ruth Bader Ginsburg gets her fish oil pills, and she lives every single.
Let's be nice.
That's the truth, though.
Okay, but Ryan,
this is not the case you want to go down swinging, losing 4 Senate seats.
So what you're saying is the Democrats are doomed, and it's going to be a conservative bench for the next 40 years.
Probably, hopefully.
But here's the other thing: is just as it may be unwise politically for the Democrats to fight so hard, because the centrist Democrats, their base will never forgive them if the Democrats don't fight hard and do everything they can to block.
But the primaries are over.
True.
The primaries are over in most states.
That's
so
true.
they're not going to be
Ryan
primary.
James, Girdusky, and Richard Roth, thank you both so much. We appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having us.